all in one.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set.
Just call me Swanny.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's drive time right here on the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan with you on a Monday afternoon. Licking your wounds edition, the welcome to Normalville edition, whatever you want to call it. Man, it was ugly. And it's been ugly. I mean, against Power 5 teams this season, Clemson has been, I think the word putrid is fair. Like, I don't know anybody sat there going, oh, that's kind of an unfair take. I mean, when you've become accustomed to winning ball games the way Clemson's won them, the way the Tigers have played, I think that probably amplifies how you feel about this the situation a little bit. Swanee, don't get choked on the air. Man, I'm so emotional. I'm just so sad about it all. Sorry, I don't know what happened, man. You ever just get that tickle? Yeah, I got it. Bible Belt Beauty says, stop looking at me, Swan. He said, remember when the Tigers went out and learned from Mac Brown at Texas? I don't guess they're going to go learn from Mac Brown at North Carolina right now. Boy, as much as Clemson's faltered this season, how do you think the Tar Heel Nation feels? So when I was growing up, there was a saying my dad always said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. William Qualkenbush joins the program. Qualk, have I been fooled twice by the Clemson Tigers, and should I be shamed at this point? What's up, big guy?
Swanee, it's good to be with you. Let me say that is a great analogy, and I think it's apropos because I do think it's a little more complicated than that. And I know we're going to get into it, but it does feel like folks have been fooled twice by this offense. And that sucks because there are still 8 more opportunities to be fooled again. What's the George W. Bush remix where he said, fool
me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You won't be fooled again.
That's right. He said, you're not going to fool me again, or whatever he said. Like that's I feel like that's what we're all doing. We're like, hey man, especially me, like I got roasted on Twitter for acting like I was fooled once and not twice, but it is. Look, Dabo Swinney saying we have who we have. Like he said it 40 times. I think I heard 80 times on our show today from callers. It is what it is. That's legit what people like. Clemson season in a nutshell. Clemson September in a nutshell. Well, it is what it is, and that's a sad place to be.
It is, Qualk, and Larry Clemson Larry wrote us earlier, and he said, "I just don't understand how it can fall apart so quickly." And I think I mentioned I have a 1994 Mitsubishi 3000 GT that I got in high school, sitting out in my driveway. It's been in the sun. This thing needs new tires. It needs new paint. It needs new interior. The engine needs work. I mean, I could go on and on about what it needs. That's what I watch when I'm watching this Clemson offense. Sometimes it's the offensive line that's a problem. Sometimes it looks like it's DJ. Sometimes it looks like it's play calling. Like, there's so much. I wouldn't want to tackle it. You watch these home restoration shows, and you go, oh, geez, there's no way I'd take that on. That's what I feel like I'm looking at when I watch this offense right now. Like, oh, geez, I don't want to have to take that on.
I had somebody in to fix my garage door earlier, just within the last week, and I thought it was a motor issue, Swanee, and I was going to go and replace the motor because I'm a make-believe electrician. And so I was going to pretend that I could do that. And so as I was going to the store, I look up and the spring looks weird. So I Googled, how is your garage door spring supposed to look? Because I never paid attention to it. And I found my garage door spring's busted. So, of course, the guy comes in. He's going to fix the spring. He fixes it like 15 minutes. He goes, hey, bad news. Your gear on your motor shot. And what had happened is because I thought I had a motor issue and it was just going slow, over time, the actual issue I had misdiagnosed. And because I had misdiagnosed it, because I thought it was something that I could just kind of handle or deal with or whatever, then it led to a completely unrelated problem. And so, you know what? When I hear all these players, in player interviews, it's become apropos to sit in player interviews Monday and Tuesday, and hear players go, we're not that far off. And I think they need to stop saying that because in reality, they are not far off. Like the offensive line, it's not 5 people busting every play, Swanee. It's 1. Yeah. It's 2 guys busting. But when the quarterback busts one play, and then the next play the left guard busts, and then the next play the right tackle busts, and then the next play the running back busts, and the next play the receiver busts, and the next play the other receiver and the left tackle bust, you're far away. Like, look, none of those individual players is that far away because they're doing their job the vast majority of the time. But when everybody's wrong at least once, when somebody's wrong on every play, you're not that close. And I think that's what people are getting tired of because if they were close, then it would be everything goes right. The quarterback throws the ball up and it's off the receiver's hands. Or the quarterback just throws the ball a little bit out beyond the receiver. Or, DJ completes a pass, but he's drilled. And so the receiver catches the ball behind him, but still gets yards. You can't trust the offensive line or the back or the quarterback or the wide receivers or the play call in any specific instance. You just assume that something's going wrong, right? That's where we are. And you know what? I was under the impression, and I said this, you got to be patient with this offense because this is not the first time that people have complained about Clemson's offense being vanilla in the first 3 weeks of the season. As Dabo says, the first quarter of the season. Then you get into quarter number 2, it looks a lot better. I'm going to tell you what, Swanee, I tweeted like a proud man because I was right after 2 series. Look how creative it was. Look how fluid DJ looked. Look how much more confident the receivers were. Joe got him, mossed the guy. Play didn't count. Wasn't his fault. He mossed the guy. Justin Ross, you have the scramble play where Ross in the back of the end zone, DJ makes a throw that there's like 6 quarterbacks in college football that can make. So I'm feeling great. And then the next 8 possessions were garbage. It was absolute garbage. I said, when you take the 2 touchdown drives in regulation, it's like having a sandwich where you got gourmet bread and whatever deli meat you hate. It's like the moldiest, nastiest, whatever meat in the middle of that sandwich. I mean, it was a horrible, horrible 2 hours offensive football against what I would consider to be a good but not great defense. And then, oh, by the way, Swanee, a good but not great offense coordinated by, I'm sorry, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth, Tim Beck, who's been fired from more FBS programs than there are as an offensive coordinator, is a dinosaur, far from the cutting edge of offensive football. His team found a way to get 31 first downs in a game with no players that I would consider to be surefire pros. Like I think Ameezy's going to be a pro, maybe. Thomas might be a pro. You got some young guys back there. I don't think any of those guys are no doubters. That's not as talented an offense as the Ryan Finley teams in 16 and 17, in my opinion. They got 31 first downs on your, top 3 defense in the country. So to make offense look so difficult, when you have an offense that's supposed to be making it look difficult, that's making it look relatively simple to at least get 10 yards every 3 plays, that's the thing that bothers me, particularly when you see how easy it could be when things are clicking well.
And that was the thing. Those 2 drives where Clemson scores, you go, that's what I'm accustomed to seeing. And maybe that's just it. We're accustomed to it. One of the things I feel like I notice, and again, I think we don't look at things with such a critical eye when you're winning, right? Like, I mean, you can quickly gloss over a 42-17 dub and just go, yep, that's Clemson being Clemson. I feel like I don't see a lot of motion. I feel like I don't see Clemson really utilizing the width of the field. Again, now they're not doing a lot with the vertical side of things either. They did a little bit more this week, in my opinion. But, there used to be the speed sweep. There used to be some motions and things that Clemson would present, some, quote, eye candy, I think was the terminology we would use. I don't even see a motion in the guy to find out what type of defense a team's lined up in. Like, to me, if you're going to run, you pick the set. Doesn't matter to me. If you line the tight end up on the opposite side of where you typically do and you motion him over to where he normally is in that look, at least you found out a little something about the defense that you're going up against. It's like Clemson, and I compared them to the Redcoats, and I said this 2 weeks ago. I may have mentioned it to you, Qualk. It feels like they thought that they just going to go into battle and they're just going to beat you because they got the best firing squad in the business. But when you're getting ambushed from the sides, all of a sudden, hey, it doesn't really matter how great you are at shooting in an open field.
Boy, we could go for another hour and a half after that because there's a lot going on and you're like 45 seconds there. I think you're 100% right. Look, there's 2 bits of revisionist history that need to be corrected right now. The first and most recent is, boy, this offense hadn't been the same since Jeff Scott left. You know what? To some degree, did Jeff Scott have some influence in the stuff they did? Yes. Tony Elliott has been the play caller since 2015. He was responsible for 2 national championships. I've had so many people say, boy, I guess Jeff Scott was more involved than we thought. No, what you thought was right. Jeff Scott was not calling plays. Jeff Scott was involved in the design. He was involved in some of the game planning, the pre-planning. But on game days, Tony Elliott was calling the plays. Now, did he have input? Certainly. I'm not saying Jeff Scott didn't do anything with the offense, but the offensive coordinator, the way we think about offensive coordinators, game planning, designing, scheming, reading, reacting, scripting, it's been Tony Elliott since 2015. The second thing is, boy, we used to, when Chad Morris was here, we used to move all over the place and do all kinds of motion. Yes, you did. But you also did in 2015. Go back and watch the national championship in 2015. Go back and watch the national championship in 2016. Go watch the Louisville game in 2016. Look at how this offense used motion to set things up, to create matchups and things like that. You're exactly right. I see more motion when I do a high school football game on Friday nights than I do with Clemson's offense. That is legitimate. And what has happened over time, I think this is a fair criticism. What has happened in the past 2 years is that Clemson knew that with Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, with Travis Etienne in the backfield, with healthy Justin Ross at a wide receiver, they didn't have to show anything against the teams in their league. Now, did they have to show stuff at the end in the playoff? Yes. And to some degree, I would almost say that, God, you can never prove this, but my theory that Clemson, it was so easy for Clemson in the last 2 seasons that they almost didn't even care to have an elaborate game plan because they assumed that they would win the games because you're winning individual matchups. They assumed that they would get to the playoff, and that's when you start opening up the playbook. That's when you break it out. And you know what? There's a little bit of arrogance in that, but that arrogance was built on something, right? Even if it was poorly founded, it was founded, right?
Right.
And that's a little bit of playing with fire.
Listen, you're making a lot of sense.
There's a lot of that to go. So what I'm saying is Tony Elliott knows how to use motion, okay? For some reason, he's not. Tony Elliott knows how to create matchups like you're saying. For some reason, he's not. I think it's fair to say that Tony Elliott, as an offensive coordinator, has shown an ability to get the most out of his players. With this team, he is not. Now, we've had people argue that, well, it's not a coaching issue, it's a personnel issue. Well, in the NFL, that might work. But in college, Swanny, particularly when you're Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, whoever, you get to pick your players. And so, the offensive, I've had callers tell me that Robbie Caldwell's not the issue, it's offensive line recruiting. Well, Clemson's not recruiting an offensive lineman if Robbie Caldwell doesn't sign off. You kind of have to own that mistake. Dabo Swinney said in the past, if a kid doesn't work out here, it's on the staff. So, I'm trying to be, it's hard when everybody wants to lump everything in a big bag. You know this, when you want to lump everything into a basket and be like, this is the problem. Because when this is the problem, then that's what you fix. But if it's a little bit of a problem here and a little bit 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 here, and some of what you're saying is right, but not all of it's right, then you got to have 30 conversations with people. It gets exhausting. Bottom line, though, there is nothing going well right now. There is not one leader that has shown himself on offense. Matt Bockhorst tried to get mad in the media Monday. He didn't play any better. His unit didn't play any better on Saturday. I said, that puts a target on your back when you talk about how angry and frustrated you are. You go out there and basically average 1 yard a carry for the vast majority of the game. That doesn't look that angry to me. It didn't seem like anger was the answer, frustration was the answer, and all that stuff. That sort of thing. No leadership. Play calls aren't working. I had a former player reach out to me today and asked if the scheme and the personnel meshed. Like maybe the scheme's good and the personnel's good, but the marriage of the two is not great. There's just so many things going wrong that everybody needs something else to go right. And that is not a recipe for success.
It is not. And Boston College comes in undefeated this weekend. They tested Clemson a year ago in Death Valley. Qualk, I know there's no margin of error available for the college football playoff, and there is certainly very little margin of error available for an ACC championship game. And that's our poll question up over on our website right now, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Will Clemson get in the ACC championship game? Boy, if they were to lose a second conference game this weekend against Boston College, I mean, you talk about feeling like this thing's gone sideways in a hurry. How do you think the reactions will be if that's the case?
Well, first of all, I know that it's not everybody saying this, but it's interesting that the people that we hear from when Clemson's blowing everybody out is how, my co-host has said this. Oh, then the games are boring. You just want to have better games. I just wish we saw a better game. It's just boring to blow everybody out like this.
Right.
Well, are you not entertained? I mean, it's one of those things like, do you want it or do you not? And I get it. Like 50% of the audience going to talk, and it's not the same 50% when they call and say it was better when you're blowing everybody out. But that's where we are. You're exactly right, though. Look, if Clemson wants to make the ACC championship game, you can't lose 2 division games, right? You can't go 0-2 against your division with NC State and BC, and that's irrespective of the fact that you got to go to Pittsburgh. It's in with them. We know that their defense is going to be stout, particularly up front. And then Wake Forest. Like, what the heck's Wake Forest doing? I don't think Wake Forest's strength of schedule has been that great. I'm not sure they got a really good win yet. So I've still got questions about Wake. They're doing a good job there, but it's a totally different thing to say you're doing a good job at Wake Forest and you're better than Clemson and going to win the ACC Atlantic. Like, to me, Dave Doeren, this is not Dave Doeren's best team, but they coached that team well enough to win that game on Saturday, despite the fact they lost Peyton Wilson, despite the fact that Leary, I know his stats were good. They didn't ask him to do a ton. He put a couple balls on the money that were dropped. He completed 32 passes. I felt like the game plan for him was great. They wore Clemson down by design. Boston College is going to have that kind of game because Dennis Grosel isn't nearly as good a quarterback as Sam Hartman or JT Daniels or, like Grosel's barely throwing the ball, right? And BC could line it up and run it on Missouri because Missouri's defense stinks. I try to tell people Missouri gave up like 400 yards to Central Michigan. Missouri's defense is absolutely abysmal. There's no reason BC should be able to line up and run it on you. The concern I have is now you're without your 2 starting defensive tackles. The remedy there is if you get Skalski back, you're second level strong, and BC will let you put 8 in the box because I am not respecting Grosel's arm at all. The reality is in these games, Swanny, Clemson now has to game plan as if they have to scheme up to stop the opponent. You can't be passive and let things come to you and try to just, keep everything in front and all this stuff. You might have to take a few more chances to try to stop that run game because that offensive line is good. You just have to make sure you stop that run game on first, second down and make Grosel beat you on third down. I'm not sure he can.
Only about a minute and a half left with William Qualkenbush. He's on Twitter at Qual Talk every day, 105.5 The Roar from 12 until 3 o'clock, out of bounds with Qualk and Kelly. Is this team like a drive away or a couple of drives away, looking really good from piecing it all together and finally clicking?
No. I've had to amend some things I said. I mean, after South Carolina State and Georgia Tech, it was pretty clear that there was not going to be a jumping from one level to another. You were going to see baby steps. And the problem is that you took 2-3 baby steps forward against South Carolina State and Georgia Tech. And after Saturday, you're almost back where you were in the pit of despair after the Georgia game because it just doesn't look right. Even the last play, it's a pretty good pass, a catchable ball. Can't make the play. Ross drops the ball on first down that drive. Plays are there to be made. They're just not making them. And they make fairly simple stuff like 1st and 10 flare screens, little bubbles and slips. They make those things look difficult. And so it just feels like a grind to get 10 yards right now until it doesn't. And then you feel great, but there's no evidence that they can carry that over 2 drives in a row. I think that's the real issue. You need to see baby steps. You can't play that well in BBC. You've got to see some more baby steps on Saturday.
Qualt, be good. We'll talk to you next week, my man.
Thanks, Swanny. Always good to be with you.
William Qualkenbush here on the show that shakes the Southland. Stay with us.
Guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A look at traffic shows a wreck on Midway Road at Andrew Corley. Also an accident on Clemson at Two Notch. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line number is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Dell's semi-annual sale for business has arrived. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 10 Pro. Enjoy specials on Dell docks, monitors, and servers. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. So call 877-ASK-DELL to speak with a Dell Technologies advisor.
Lawton Swan here. And I know in sports, we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Let me tell you who I trust to protect my home and my family. Modern Exterminating. Hey, it's Lawton Swan, and when you need top quality service from a team that knows what bugs you, call Modern Exterminating, 765-2315. They're locally owned and offer a full complement of pest elimination services, including complete pest control, termite plans, moisture control, and more. Check out Modern Exterminating online at pestfreesc.com or give them a call today, 765-2315. Modern Exterminating. They know what bugs you.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. Aggressive driving, such as speeding, rapid acceleration, and hard braking, can lower your highway fuel economy by up to 40% and cost you up to $1.27 more per gallon in gasoline. Save money and reduce your transportation emissions by avoiding aggressive driving. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present.
When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium.
When I grow up, I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
When I grow up, I want to be a fancy backsplash.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
When I grow up,
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
I want to be a rocking chair on a sunny porch.
I want to be a skyscraper.
I want to be When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. A public service advertisement brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Families affected by disasters urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those affected by disasters, big and small. Donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Looking for South Carolina's favorite country? You'll find it at 97.5 WCOS.
It is a Monday. It is a 2-2 Monday. Clemson 2-2 on the season after falling to the Wolfpack of NC State 27-21. South Carolina also lost by 6 points this weekend to Kentucky. Again, I thought that was a a hinge type ball game for South Carolina, feeling that, if the Gamecocks played well, and I would have to give them credit for playing pretty well. I mean, they were in the ball game. But if they could have won that game, I thought it could kind of change the complexion of their season. At this point for Clemson Tiger fans, though, I know there's mounting frustration. I think that, again, you look back at how good this team has been, I think that adds to it. Bent Zero hits us up on Twitter or on the text line, says, while the drop-off has been steep, we can't assume that the dynasty is over. It's just one season. We're not FSU just yet. And therein lies some of my thoughts on it as well. Like, has Clemson been great this year? No. But it's not like you got a coaching change. It's not like you've got some big regime overhaul or anything like that. I think that's one of the positives. I will say, I think for anybody that's been around this program long enough, not the fair weather bandwagon fans, but anybody that's been around for a while understands that winning at the level you've been winning at is not the norm, and it was becoming the norm. And I'm a guy that said, and Double O has pointed this out, that at some point this run was going to end. Like, enjoy the ride because this streak was going to come to an end. I am also the guy that has said that I don't believe that this playoff has been healthy for the sport because it, in my opinion, produces Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Georgia more frequently. I know it won't be great for you as Tiger fans at this point because you're on the outside looking in. But for the sport, it's probably going to be better to not have Clemson in the playoff. Clemson and Alabama is a tired matchup. You probably hate it, and I don't blame you. Because you're a Clemson Tiger fan and you want to be in the championship game and you don't care if it's Clemson and Alabama from now until the cows come home. But believe me, a freshening up of the teams in the college football playoff is not bad. It's not a bad thing for college football. All right, here's a unnamed caller's message from Saturday following Clemson's loss against NC State.
Please, and I'm saying please with all my heart, fire Tony Elliott. He sucks. Our offense is trash. This is an embarrassment, and it's absolutely pitiful. We might not win another game. Pitiful. Thanks.
All right, so there you go. Trash, pitiful. We might not win another game. Another unnamed texter listening to the show in Virginia.
Hey, this is Clemson fan from Virginia. Hey, you got to remember, NC State lost to Mississippi State by 10. So I just think our offense isn't as good as everybody thought that we were. I think the coaches are going to say the right things about the fact that we need to work hard, do this and do that. But at the end of the day, if I'm the defense, I'm going over to DJ and I'm going to say, hey, you guys need to get it in gear. The offensive line can yap and talk a lot of hot air, but at the end of the day, it's all about execution, and it's obvious our offense is not doing that. So congratulations for the run we've had for the last 10.5 years. But as everybody knows as a Clemson fan, I mean, I'm still one, always will be. Our playoff hopes have gone with the overtime loss in Raleigh.
Again, I think the struggles that caller talked about makes a lot of sense to me. I think, again, we all would like to say, yeah, it's going to be better. But at this point, I don't know if or when it's going to end. I mean, it's just been difficult, I think, for everybody. Also, kind of watching it, again, like I said, it's kind of like that car, man. It's a bunch of different areas where Clemson's struggling. And even if you fix one aspect of it, is that enough? I'm not certain. All right, last one of the callers here. Can't remember where this caller said they were from, but nonetheless, here we go.
Oh, hey, how y'all doing, Clemson Sports Talk? I just want to say I'm extremely sad. I'm really, really sad. Yeah, I find comfort that this is somehow maturing our fan base. At the end of the day, I think as terrible as today was, I think, what am I kidding? Tony Elliott, what was going on, brother? Come on. What was happening today? But I think, I can't stop lying to myself. This is what, week four? This is a whole month of lying to myself about what's going on.
Right.
Hard play calling, very abysmal, I would say. But at the end of the day, I think, hard play calling. DJ, I think he lacks a little pocket awareness. We'll say that. But Tony Elliott, man. What can I say? Go Tigers.
I think you said it all. I mean, Tony Elliott's going to face the brunt of the criticism, just given the way this team has looked. And again, RG3's comments on the air calling the offense archaic does not help. And we've talked in the past about how you see the schemes and the route trees at Ole Miss and other programs where guys are running free and you're just making use of all the space of the field. Clemson has not. And again, I think that stagnant belief that you were just going to win is the same mentality that the Redcoats had on the battlefield during the American Revolution. And Clemson's offense needs a little bit of a shot in the arm. We'll hit a quick break. Stay with us.
Our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival, the ultimate once-in-a-lifetime music event, is coming to the CW.
Let's get it started.
The biggest stars from all genres of music share one stage.
Billie Eilish,
Cheap Trick, Coldplay,
Darius Rucker, Dua Lipa,
J. Cole, Journey,
Khalid, Lil Baby, Nelly,
Sam Hunt,
Weezer,
with special guests,
Florida Georgia Line,
Walker Hayes. Performances you've never seen before and will never see again.
The 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Watch this Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m. on Columbia's CW.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
How do you take your pregame up a notch? Book former Carolina player Bill Gauze and his son Will at Billy G's Carolina Barbecue to cater your event. Nominated Best Caterer in Columbia, Billy G's Carolina Barbecue brings their A game. Barbecue, oyster roast, wedding receptions, corporate events, and of course, tailgate parties. And they have a food truck for those special events. Call 256-2694 to book your next event. That's 256-2694. Billy G's Carolina Barbecue, South Carolina's #1 team for barbecue.
Are you ready to see every Fixer Upper episode ever? Now you can on Discovery Plus. Stream every demo and every design from the show that started it all. Plus, design and remodeling pros Chip and Joe are back with fresh ideas for turning outdated homes into innovative living spaces. In the new series, Fixer Upper Welcome Home. New challenges, stunning home transformations, and every episode from the beginning. Get it all for just $4.99. The streaming home of Fixer Upper and so much more. Exclusively with Discovery Plus. Start your free trial today.
This is Chris Collinsworth. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings.
Did we see a new Packer team last night in their thrilling comeback win over San Francisco? For the first time in a long time, Green Bay was the more physical group. They hit Jimmy G a career-high 10 times. It wasn't your typical Packer win. Matt LaFleur out-schemed Kyle Shanahan in all three phases. No, by the way, Aaron Rodgers finally looked like he loved playing football again. I'm Colin Cowherd.
Download the DraftKings app and use code SPORTS to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
You know the final score. Now listen to the NFL podcast that tells you why it happened. Premiering September 14th.
Do they have a skill or trait that is going to allow them to survive?
Dan Orlovsky, Scott Pioli, and me, Bob Wischusen, are tape heads who watch the tape and give fans the answers.
Regardless of what the hierarchy is, folks need to be servants to the head coach.
Listen to Tape Heads on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Imagine if I told you that an earthquake was going to hit tomorrow right where you live. That it would be 6.5 in magnitude with aftershocks occurring twice 25 minutes apart. You'd no doubt talk with your loved ones and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you an earthquake will happen tomorrow. But what if it does? Shouldn't you have a plan? Visit scemd.org and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by the South Carolina Emergency Management Division, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
Want to hit a home run with your smart speaker? Alexa, play Fox Sports Radio 1400 on iHeartRadio.
That sounds like a pretty good choice to me.
It is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan with you. So, again, we'll hear from Tony Elliott to wrap up the program. But I thought, you know what, let's watch the final two plays of that ball game together here up at NC State. And hopefully, let me mute the audio. Don't want you to have any audio here. But so, again, let's just evaluate these two final plays. Hopefully, this will run okay for you. It may not. Looks like it might be a little choppy. First, this is a 3rd and 5 situation in overtime from the 20. Again, Will Shipley's out. Looks like it's not going to work. Oh, feelings. Well, we tried. I don't know what the deal is on that front, but again, let me give it one more whirl. Let's see if I can pull it up one more time. But these two play calls, or at least what developed out of them, to me were as significant really as anything else that happened in the ball game, because again, NC State is up by 6. You have played terrible. You're at the point of the game where you're going to be getting into 2-point conversions, right? And Clemson, in this scenario, even as bad as the offense has been, I still feel pretty good that if you get in the end zone, you are more likely to be the team, as bad as you've been, that either A, converts the 2-point conversion, which you have the option to do. Secondly, you know, because you've got the ball the second time around in double overtime, that you get 4 plays. You're not going to settle for a field goal. So act like that. Like, act like that's what you've got in front of you. 2 plays to pick up 5 yards. Instead, this first play just turns into just a bunch of hogwash. I mean, before DJ can do anything, the defense is in the backfield. I mean, watch how quick this takes place. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it justice. I may have gone back too far. Sorry. Anyway, the whole scenario that Clemson had there in the final couple of plays in overtime, I mean, just atrocious. You have to be better. These are the key moments in this ball game. You absolutely have to be better. So, again, watch the offensive line here collapse. DJ has a defender at his feet. I mean, seconds after the ball is snapped. Look at that. Nobody. Tight ends pulling over. Awful. And then you get to the final play call. Again, where you were facing a 3rd and 5. I don't know that you had to go to the end zone here. if you watch, I think it's Davis Allen, the tight end from the bottom of the set. No, that might have been a little bit earlier, but there was a play at one point in overtime where Tyler Davis appeared to be wide open to me, and nothing to it. Here's that last look at that final play of the game again. Some people thought Justin Ross got held. We put it out in super slow-mo. It just looked to me like Ross couldn't find the football. Just didn't know where the ball was. Pretty good throw. You win some, you lose some. And Clemson's 1-2 and lost 2 this season in frustrating fashion for sure. But, yeah, that third down play, again, I would have preferred to give the ball to Kobe Pace and just attempt to pick up 2, maybe 3 yards. And if you're lucky, you get all 5. Instead, you put it on the offensive line to hold up, and I think Nick Saban would say they're 10 horn right now. And so you get nothing out of it. As a matter of fact, on 2nd and 10, Clemson runs Kobe Pace and gets 5 yards. And I'm not sure that just doing another one of those zone read looks with Kobe and DJ isn't the right play there for Clemson. And then you got a 3, you get to the end zone, you got 3 yards for a chance to sneak out of a game that you didn't deserve to win. Sneak out with a victory in a game you did not deserve to win. HD in Charlotte says, Swanny, they simply are losing the battle in the trenches. It all starts with the big guys up front. I'm telling you, that 3rd down and 5 play call in overtime, I didn't love the play call, but my goodness, could Clemson have possibly blocked it any worse? Just awful. Awful. That's a fair assessment of how it looked. Awful. Bockhorst, the center's trying to get over. He has no chance to get to the linebacker. Tight end's pulling across, leaving an open gap. I mean, they are literally at DJ's feet. He snaps the ball. They're at his feet in less than a second and a half. I mean, they're at his feet. Scheme, offense, no motion. I mean, you could go on and on. Now, Tony Elliott was asked about the archaic comments from RG3 during the ballgame. I thought RG3 did a good job. I've never been an RG3 fan. I mean, I wouldn't say I've been an RG3 hater either. I don't really even know. I know there was some drama around him at one point. I think something with his wife or ex-girlfriend or something. I can't remember what it was, but as an analyst, does a pretty good job. John in Archdale says, Swanny, what if we start running the scramble play on 3rd and long like the touchdown pass to Ross? I'm not sure why you're not moving DJ anyway more frequently. I mean, I'd roll DJ as much as possible at this point. Well, you got to lose. Clearly, having DJ stand in the pocket's not working. Zach with a long text message says, Swanny, diehard Clemson fan in Lexington. What's obvious and concerning is if the situation was on our players, they wouldn't be developing as the season went on. You can see today DJ has progressed since week 1. Our play calling hasn't. I feel like that's because Tony was a former player. He has relationships he does at Dabo. Essentially saying that Dabo wouldn't reevaluate him because Tony is kind of part of that Clemson family. This has been a common theme we've heard from people about him. He says, not blaming it on technique that Tony does each week. Yes, there needs to be improvement with the details and the reads as far as DJ goes, but having 7 yards combined through 7 different drives is about as obvious as you can make it that there needs to be a change in the offensive side of the staff. I could go on and on into Zach's email, but unfortunately, I don't have enough time. Final segment of the show coming up, we'll hear from Tony Elliott right after this.
Big Red Barn Retreat supporters, listen up. Concert update. Craig Morgan can't join us this year, but Joe Nichols is going to be here.
Hang up that red dress.
97.5 WCOS presents Joe Nichols.
Whoa.
at the Big Red Barn Retreats Fall Jam at the Ballpark, Saturday, October 9th at the Fireflies Segra Park.
Tequila makes your clothes fall off.
Also presented by Sonic Drive-In, Michelob Light, and FN America. It's Joe Nichols. Get existing ticket information now or buy your Joe Nichols tickets online at thebigredbarnretreat.org.
Guys, now there's no excuse. Peak Performance for Men has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction. The question is, what are you waiting for? Live the life you want today with a free consultation. No medication, no pumps, no needles, no pain, no surgery, and absolutely no downtime. Just non-invasive acoustic wave therapy that will have you back to your natural form. That's right. Now for a limited time, a free consultation. There is no risk. Fix it for good with one phone call. Call the Columbia office today at 803-302-8181 or find them at peakperformanceformen.com. Why wait? Enjoy your life to the fullest. Peak can make the difference. Call 803-302-8181 and get your free consultation now. That's 803-302-8181. Peak Performance for Men.
Imagine a disease that can hurt any part of your body, like your joints, heart, kidneys. Your immune system becomes so hyperactive that it attacks instead of protects. That's lupus. You don't look sick, so no one knows you feel awful. You also may know someone who has it. Join us for Lupus Research Alliance's virtual Many One Can. Walk with us to cure lupus, October 2nd at noon. No one can cure it alone, but many one can. Visit walk.lupusresearch.org to register now.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat and Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat and Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Movement is always driving us forward, whether it's on the track, the court, or on the field. Every move we make and every mile marker we pass leads us to find out just how far we can go. Goodyear, more driven.
Our military service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. They step up. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Beyond all the hospitals and doctors and surgeries they need just to survive, they also deserve whatever they need to truly live. All the in-home care and day-to-day help they need to live independently, on their own terms. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs were established to provide these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost for life. So many of them need us, and it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Yes, I know there was more college football on this past weekend than just Clemson, or even I did mention South Carolina for our Gamecocks that peek over the fence with us.
So you could continue to peek over the fence at the best radio show in the nation.
But I felt like it was, to steal a phrase from William Qualkenbush, apropos that we stay focused on the Clemson Tigers today. Tony Elliott earlier today was asked about his social media and if he's seen some of the things that people have said about him and the job he's doing.
You know what? I hadn't. I shut my social media off, and I'm not even worried about it. I'm sure they are. I get a lot of text messages from friends just encouraging me, but I hadn't seen anything. But it is what it is. It's part of it. Comes with the nature of the position. So that's kind of their space. I'm gonna let them have their space.
So essentially saying, hey, look, Twitter's the fan space. Gonna let them have the fan space. He was asked about what issues he's seen with the offense, and what he really thinks is going on after getting a chance to watch the tape again.
Biggest thing is we're just out of sync right now, and it's 10 guys and then one guy not doing the right thing, or it's 9 and you got 2 guys not doing the right thing, and some of that can be attributed to youth. Guys just in the game speed is a little bit different, even though practice speed is pretty fast here for us on our practice field. It still happens fast in the game, and it takes time just to kind of work through those things to be able to anticipate. Some of the mistakes were some of the younger guys. From a quarterback perspective, we got to do a better job up front just to make him get comfortable again. I thought he made some progress, in terms of in the previous games of sitting in the pocket, but I thought he got a little antsy again and kind of moved in the pocket when he didn't need to. So just things and I think all the guys, the staff, everybody felt like this was the game, and I think it's a couple plays too. I think if we score on that first drive, we hit that little dump to Shipley, he's going to have a big play. We score on the second drive, then we come back and we at least, get some momentum on those next couple of drives. It could be a completely different outcome, and all it takes is a little bit of momentum. So, I don't think we're at that point where it is what it is yet, but we just got to continue to figure out get the right pieces in place, just really kind of, assess and say what each individual can do, and then try to build our plans towards putting them in a position to be successful.
All right, so on the Shipley play he's talking about, it was a little dump pass. Shipley comes out of the backfield. DJ tries to hit him right in the middle of the field. The ball seemed to be a little bit behind him, maybe even a little hot. Now, I don't have the 22-man shot, so I really can't see what the full field looked like. But I got to tell you, I don't think I agree, based off of the film that I've seen, that he's going to score there. There was a defender crashing down. I don't think he's going to score. He might pick up a first down, but I don't think it's going for a touchdown. And I have no reason, based on any evidence I've seen from this team this year, that any play is going to be going for a touchdown at any point. That's just my 2 cents on that. Tony Elliott was also asked about Robert Griffin III calling things archaic, some people calling it conservative. The question was also asked about seeing Brandon Streeter very animated on the headsets against Georgia Tech, Dabo Swinney on the headsets, and how much Swinney and Streeter are also involved in the play calling.
Well, I call the plays, but I get input. I rely on those guys to just give me suggestions because I trust their eyes and what they've seen. They've been a part of the process. And the response that I would have to archaic is it's the same plays that they're running at North Carolina. It's the same plays that's being run all around the country. We're just not having success. We're not executing at a high level. So there's going to be critics. It comes with the territory. We just got to do a better job of executing the plays. You execute the plays, you have success, you score points. Then it's not questioned as much. So that would just be my response to that. But definitely rely on all those guys to assist and just give me information throughout the course of the game to help try and find the right calls for the guys. And at the same time too, when you're struggling, everyone wants you to go be creative and think outside the box. Well, you got to be able to execute the fundamentals, first and foremost, and that's where we got to get better.
All right, so there you go. Just some of what Tony Elliott had to say earlier today up in Tigertown. Again, I don't necessarily need them to be creative, but I need them to run a 3rd and 5 play in overtime that I believe would be based off of knowing that you get 2 downs to pick up 5 yards. And then I am also a larger fan of on the 4th down and 5 play, not just having my 6'5", 265-pound quarterback stand in the pocket and throw a fade to the end zone. I don't mind if you want to throw that play on 1st down. But if I've got to get 5, I don't even mind. I'll be honest. If you got to throw that on 4th and 15 in overtime, doesn't bother me. I mean, heck, man, you had 4th and 15. But if you got 4th and 5, can you give me DJ on the outside rolling? Can you give me a tight end going across the field and the route with him? He can pull it down and pick me up 5 yards, dump it off to the tight end, and then a last resort, if we have to hit a wide receiver towards the end zone, let's go. I mean, I don't think I'm asking, I'm not asking for the triple reverse pass option. I don't need to see the annexation of Puerto Rico run here to win this ball game. But I would like to see 2 play calls on 3rd and 5 and 4th and 5 in overtime that I think are good play calls, because those are pretty key plays. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, as always, y'all take care now and go Tigers.
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports, Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Traffic types include Clemson at Long Green Parkway, also a wreck on Founders Ridge at Summit Ridge. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line number is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Ensure Max Protein. Try great tasting Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health. Those who tried Ensure Max Protein reported feeling more energy in just 2 weeks. For more information, including consumer survey details, please visit Ensure.com.
Way back when, Columbia was a vast dining desert, a wasteland for fast, fresh